Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites. How you doing today? Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Did y'all watch the inauguration of y'all president, commander-in-chief? Y'all watched the inauguration of your commander-in-chief? Should have watched it. Go back if you didn't. Watch his speech. It was interesting. That's one thing we got to stop doing as Black people. When we don't like something, we don't participate because we think that somehow we punishing somebody because we ain't participate in it. Or we think we on code because we didn't participate. Not listening to nothing he say is not going to help us. The fact that you don't like it, you don't like him or whatever, is the very reason that you should listen very intensely to everything he say. He didn't say nothing necessarily different. Than he's been saying, because he whether you like him or don't like him, Trump is who he is. He really who he is. I don't see that there are any he not being inauthentic. He's who he is. And he's saying the stuff that he really be thinking. You gotta listen. So as Black people, we can't just bury our head in the sand and hope that the things that we don't like go away. That's not how life works. And as long as we keep thinking that as a group of people, that's how life works, oh, forget them. And then just go away when we don't like things, instead of participating, at least in an effort to change what we don't like or to become knowledgeable about what you don't like. You gotta, if someone or something is your enemy, then you have to know about it. You can't just be like, oh, I don't like that. That's not how the world works. Nobody else does that but us. Listen when I say he roasted them to their face. He roasted them to their face. Kamala was so mad. Kamala was sitting there mad, baby. She was mad, baby. You could have poached a couple of eggs on her, baby. She was mad. Biden at some of them points looked like he was almost gonna laugh. Because I think Biden said he was tired anyway. He really was in there roasting folk, and that was actually the funniest part. But he said some really interesting things that you have to think on and see what he do. But anyway, I was kind of being a little bit funny talking about that in the first place. But let's go ahead and deep dive into our topic today. Because Feminism has women out here convinced that anything that they don't like in their marriage, divorce is the answer to it. And in the vein of what I was talking about the last time we were here, I'm going to start a small shift, not a dramatic shift, but a small shift in my approach to certain things. Because we're going to start talking about things I'm going to start talking about things from more of a lioness's perspective to a certain degree. So I saw this post on Instagram, and it reads, I asked my followers, this is this lady's page, I asked my followers, have you ever considered divorce because of unequal burden of chores and the mental load in your marriage? Obviously, she asked women. 47% of them said yes. That one right there, 47% is nearly half said yes. It goes on to read, I asked them why. Okay. She's trying to get to the bottom of that 47%. And these are the quotes that she must have repeatedly been given, and she posts them here. I don't know if I can do this forever. I'm tired of promises of change with no follow through. It feels like having another child in the house. We're going to go through each one of these. I do not feel seen because I deserve an equal partner. If I have to do it by myself, I might as well be by myself. I feel like a married single mother because I was losing myself. I had no time for myself and I deserve better. Notice a trend? There is just too much resentment because I am exhausted. I do not feel appreciated or respected. This is not the life I wanted for myself. I am tired of doing it all by myself. I do not feel seen because it would be less work without him. This unequal division of labor isn't just a complaint, it's a real issue hurting many marriages. We're going to go back. Let's talk about them. I don't know if I can do this forever. Lionesses do not ask themselves this question in terms of whether or not we can perform lioness duties for the duration of marriage. Marriage duration idealistically being until one of the spouses pass. Okay. Hyenas, on the other hand, can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Why not? Because feminism has given women various different kinds of delusions to have. Okay? Feminism has provided women in general with a lot of different kinds of related yet separate delusions under which to labor in their lives, only to find that in the reality, the delusion is a delusion and it has no bearing on what is actually expected, what should actually be done, and what a woman should actually be doing and expecting out of marriage. Okay. One of the delusions, because you got to think about, what is this? I don't know if I can do this. What's this? What's this? This is put the needs of the family above you. See, people they have a tendency not to understand when I say things like, the reality of a marriage is that men have rights and women have rights. The husband has rights, the wife has rights. It is up to the husband to see to and facilitate and observe in a fair, equitable, kind-hearted way all of the rights of his wife. Equally, it is women, a wife's job, to observe, to facilitate all of the husband's rights in a kind-hearted and generous way. It is not the husband's duty to see to his own rights and to see that they get fulfilled. Equally, it is not up to the wife to make sure that her rights are being observed for herself. It should automatically be happening. In this way, each person, the wife and the husband, are actually putting the needs of the other one in front of their own. But that does not suggest that the needs should not be met. Just because I'm not making sure that my rights are being met should never suggest that they are not being met or should not be met. Okay? Just because my husband should not have to be in a position to worry daily and constantly about whether or not his rights are being trampled upon or observed is not his responsibility to make sure. But that does not mean that his rights should not be and are not being observed. So when I say that, I know a lot of people cringe. What do you mean don't see to whether or not my rights are being observed? You know when they're being observed and you know when they're being neglected. It's just not it's not your duty to make sure that your own rights are being observed, because what that does is that puts you above everybody else. Well, I got to make sure that my rights are being observed and my needs are being met. Instead of putting that responsibility on your spouse, because that's where it is. That's what the vow was for. The vows that you said to each other, whether you said those vows in the masjid or whether you said those vows in a church house or wherever you said those vows, you said that you took the other person for better or for worse or for rich or for poor. You, not you. You said that you would look out for the other person. And your spouse said the same thing. They said the same thing. They said, I'm going to look out for you, not me. So what that means is you're not the focus. Your spouse should be focused on you. You should be focused on them. In this way, everyone is focused on each other. All the needs get met. No one feels neglected or unseen. No one feels neglected, disrespected, unseen, not valued, and all of that. So the this in this sentence means I don't know if I can focus because I'm so busy trying to make sure that I'm getting everything I'm supposed to be getting out of this marriage. Instead of being focused on, am I giving everything that I can give into this marriage? See, you get in what you get out what you put in, garbage in, garbage out. So if your energy is never really focused on what I can put into this marriage so that I can get something out, if you never put that energy into it, how are you going to get anything out of it? How are you supposed to get a benefit out of that? How? Because you're so concerned. You don't trust your spouse. You don't trust that they have your best interest in mind and heart. So if you don't trust that they have your best interest in mind and heart, you are not with the right person. And we wonder whose fault that is. I'm tired of promises of change with no follow through. Now, as a standalone, this can be problematic for the simple reason that apologies and discussions of resolution actually have to be carried out. It would become frustrating for anyone, for a couple to speak with one another, come to some consensus about what should be happening because someone brought up a concern. The other person says, okay, I'll see to your concerns in this way. And they proceed not to do it. That could become very frustrating. However, in the context of the premise that was presented, this is not a standalone. This is in connection with, because remember the original question. We can't forget the original question. The original question was, have you ever considered divorce because of, not because of other things, because of the, quote, unequal burden of chores and the mental load in your marriage? So this is in connection with that. It's not a standalone. So what we're saying is, she was like, oh, you don't help me with the kids. You don't help me with blah, 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 blah. Okay. And he says, okay, babe, I'll do better with that. I'll try to help you with that. Da, 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 da. And then 6 months later, after this conversation, you still feel like whatever he said he was going to do to help, he didn't help. And so how these women are perceiving this is that he's promising to make changes that he is not making. There is no follow through. And so she's becoming frustrated. Ma'am, it's your work. It's your work. This is the thing. This is one of the delusions that feminism handed women, that he wasn't your husband, he was your partner. That was the first delusion, that when we get married, we are not husband and wife. The reason why this new language came into play, first, it was in part in reference to non-heterosexual romantic relationships. Let's go back to the root of where using partner came from. The use of the word partner was popularized and normalized in the conversation of same-sex marriage in the United States. So 2 women or 2 men found it awkward to refer to one another as the husband and the wife and blah, 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 because in a lesbian relationship, who's the husband? In a gay relationship, who's the wife? So they started saying partner. That came from the LGBT community, as I said, in reference to homosexual marriage in the United States. That is where that term became popular to use instead of husband and wife. Because not only is it a result of the confusion, but the state did not mandate, they did not create the institution of marriage. The institution of marriage was created by Allah. And he deemed those 2 people as the husband and the wife, which have definite roles and definite responsibilities. Husband, wife. It is a title, and it is also an office to hold. It's like holding an office. With that office, with that title, comes particular responsibilities and expectations to be fulfilled. Anything other than husband and wife in a marital union cannot be called a husband and a wife. You got to have a different word for that. And they thought of a different word for that, partner. It was gender neutral. And it could be assigned any definition. Y'all got y'all pens out, I hope. Correct? Taking notes? Hope so. Told you we were deep diving today. So partner, this is why I don't use that term. When I speak of married couples, I do not say, oh, your partner. I do not say that. Your husband or your wife. Okay? Those have God-given, a law defined what a husband is and what he must do in order to fulfill the office of being a husband. It is not just a man because he got an XY chromosome, okay? That's not husband. Husband is something that a man becomes. It is something that he does. It is a responsibility he takes on. And he must do so solemnly. It is a serious responsibility. Okay? Because his wife and his children are underneath his leadership. He is responsible before Allah not to mislead them. He cannot mislead them. He can't mislead them spiritually. He can't mislead them physically. He can't. This is why the rules are the rules. This is why the station of husband has a definition. It is said on the day of judgment, all of the leaders will appear before Allah in shackles. And when we say leaders, not just political leaders like leaders of a nation or leaders of a country, who else is the leader? The husband. The husband is the leader of his family. He also appears before Allah in shackles because he has to answer for his leadership. Did he mislead his family and those under his charge? Or did he lead them correctly according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted? And if so, then he's greatly rewarded for all of the sacrifices and all of the things that he did in this life to ensure that his family was always good and that he did the absolute best that he could in his power to make sure. Okay? Wives do not appear before Allah in that capacity. We are accountable. Women are accountable. Trust and believe that. We don't get to skate. Everybody is accountable. Everybody is accountable. Okay? So it is with a heavy mind and a heavy sense of responsibility that men take on the office and the station of husband. Similarly, women are to also enter into marriage because the wife is also no joke. That position is not a joke. We have defined responsibilities. You can find those responsibilities listed in the rights that the husband has over her. Over her. We are not equal business partners, domestic we are not none of that. Husband, wife. And you cannot like that arrangement. If you want to, take it up with your creator and argue with your mama. And his women have not liked this position. Feminism has demonized that position from the spiritual sense, politically, physically, societally, in every aspect that they could demonize and demoralize and degrade a position that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted women to raise her, not to lower her, to raise her. To raise her, not to make her low. So when I say husband, wife, this is not to make women feel low, which is what feminism has done to women. It is not to make women be low. It is not to make women be nothing. It is not to devalue women. It is not to say that women know nothing and can do nothing and can be nothing and they are nothing. But what it harkens to is the original creative purpose for women. Okay? And that purpose is also greatly rewarded. Women are rewarded for the pregnancy and the birth. Okay? Of children. Because we do that under pain of death. It is said that a child cannot repay his mother one kick that he did in her belly. This is where the respect of the mother come in. Her child cannot repay her for one kick that he did in her belly. Can't repay her for any of the discomfort she endured. These are lofty things. Allah does not look down on these things. He gave her a job to do. And when women do that job, we get rewarded for the job. It's like anybody else doing a job. Okay? Because she going to stay up with that baby. She going to lose her sleep. The baby sucking off of her if she breastfeeding. The death angel circled her 3 times on when she was in labor and giving birth. Even with modern medicine, women pass away giving birth. Just from the trauma of the giving of the birth. And we was built to do it. Feminism made that a small thing. You can have a baby for anybody. You understand? You understand? This is why I be saying what I'm saying. You put your life on the line every time you get pregnant. For what? For who? Not for your husband, which would be the only man that would ever be worthy of that. Let's keep going. Feels like having another child in the house. This goes back to what I was saying. See, females get this in their head because they think everything that they are doing, if they do it for their husband, somehow they are diminished. This is ultimately where the selfishness and the delusion come from. They're having these problems in their minds, in their marriages, because they can't get off of the whole, what am I getting out of the situation thought pattern. When you don't go into a marriage underneath the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who knows what you entered into? Who knows what you entered into? What did you enter into? See, when you enter into contracts with the devil, this is what you get. Cause see, Satan don't like that husband and wife stuff. That's why he works so hard to change the words. Words have meanings. Okay? Allah chose husband and wife for a reason. He gave it its list of responsibilities for a reason. It has a list of rights attached to them for a reason. It's not a partnership. You go into business and have a partnership. You see? You go into other types of relationships and those may be partnerships. Those certainly are not husband and wife. When you go into business with someone, you don't become husband and wife. So partnership and husband and wife are not interchangeable at all. Because if a man go into business with another man, he don't call that man his husband. You're gonna get smacked. Because who you talk, what you saying? See, we got to dissolve this business because you done came out of a bag. What did you say? What you say I was? When a law firm open up, they don't say, you know what I'm saying, this is Johnson's Law and his wives. No. Because if it's Johnson, Levitz, and I don't know, whoever, whatever, then that's who it is. We're not all husbands and wives. We're talking about. It's a different station. It's a station that Allah created. Man did not create that station. Allah did. Man created partnership. Because you can be a partner in different manners. You can be partners. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be my partner as we walk down the street. You know, this is my walking partner. Husband and wife is different. But y'all are out here making deals with the devil. Y'all are not entering under the covenant of God. It's not a covenant, they're contracts. They're not covenants, they're contracts. The getcha gotcha is that feminism put women in a contractual mindset and told them that they could approach a covenant like a contract and that it should work the same way. And they don't at all. This is why I don't like the concept of a marriage is a business. I get what folks be trying to say with that, but the reason why I stay away from it is because of the language. So feminism put women in a contractual mindset and then told them to approach a covenant in that mindset. This is where 47% coming from. That's what it's coming from. How can you approach a covenant as a contract when they by definition, they're two different things? It's just as wonky as coming into the job and acting like everybody there is in a romantic relationship with you. You know how wacky that is? You come in for an interview and treat it like a date. Do you understand you almost might get security called on you? You go in for a job interview where this is supposed to be a partnership and an employer-employee relationship, and you come in there dressed like a dinner date and start having romantic conversations with the interviewer. Do you understand how awkward and security? Because we think you got a mental problem. Because what I'm asking you, what you bring to the company, and you talking about your exes. What? You understand how those things are not, they are not interchangeable. They're not interchangeable because it's weird. So if romantic interactions is weird in a job interview, then a job interview energy is weird in a marriage. After these messages, we'll be right back. go ahead and finish ringing in the new year 2025 with some of the best body butter and personal care products on the market. The link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Keep your skin looking and feeling its absolute best. If it's going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson at checkout. Once again, the link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Don't know how many likes I need. It's almost 500 people in here, but I owe you guys a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to go ahead and hit the like button. Thank you. Gregory says, salute, Kendra. I'd like to see you do a collaboration with Karen Strong. That would be interesting. I'll ponder on that. But thank you so much. Thank you. 1972 OG said, yeah, rainbows creative partner. Exactly. Thank you, D. Said domestic partner. Exactly. And thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you once again, D said that's what feminism lobby to change, marriage to domestic partnership. Exactly. Thank you once again. OG Tony says Sodom and Gomorrah tactics to divide man and woman to take over the world again. Exactly. And thank you, Miss Mia, for your super sticker. I appreciate you as well. We're going to so just to finish this up, feels like having another child in the house because you resent doing anything for your husband because he's not your husband, he's your partner. Because you do not honor husband and wife and the responsibilities and expectations that come with those titles, you dumbed it down to partner. And now partner can be anything and anybody. It has any set of expectations or none at all. So therefore, when we say that they are partners, then a partner is supposed to have equal share of the business duties and responsibilities. They are supposed to work out who is responsible for what. Okay? If you have two people who have entered into business with one another, they have to then structure their business in a way that is profitable. And they also must divide responsibilities and tasks that they are going to be responsible for throughout the business venture. Okay. They have to write that down. Not only do we have to distinguish who's going to be responsible for what, how long are you going to be responsible for that, in what capacity you're going to be responsible for that. We also have to see who are you accountable for when these things don't get done. Are you accountable to one another? Are you accountable to yourself? Are you accountable to an external third party? Like who you got to start thinking about it like a business if that's what you're going to do. A partner. This is not your husband or your wife. So this is where the resentment comes in, because if I entered into a partnership in business with someone and we said that we were going to do this, that, and the third, and you were going to do this, that, and the third, and then all of a sudden I find myself doing your work, I'm mad at you. If the only way the business survives is that I do my work and like I got to do 50% of your work too, and then when I talk to you about it, you dismiss it, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the business would fall if I didn't do that. I'm mad too. I'm mad. We ending this business deal because you will not rope me into a business. We said what we were going to do and then you didn't do it. And so now I'm mad. So that's a breach of contract. So we're going to dissolve this contract. So what do you mean? And you owe me money from that alimony. And you owe me, you know what I'm saying? Child support. It's a business. Words have meanings. Husbands and wives do not even approach their covenant in that way. It's from a completely different perspective that it is approached. Because see, when a God-fearing lioness do things for her husband, she's not even looking for a reward from him. The reward comes from Allah. Now, we like acknowledgement. We like our husbands to say thank you and to see us and to make sure that, because we need to be validated by a man. That man would just so happen to be the one that we're married to. So we would like validation from him and for him to acknowledge that we are doing our jobs properly and that he appreciates that they're done properly and and blah, 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 blah. We love that. It's wonderful. The reward, though, comes from Allah. So that sense of selfishness is not present. Feeling like he's another child in the house doesn't happen. The resentment is kept at bay because I'm not spiteful of every time I do something and he benefits from it. Like, I don't like it because why did he benefit from that? And then I didn't get nothing out of it. What were you supposed to be getting out of it? Exactly. Like, what did you want to happen afterwards? Like, after you fixed his plate, then what? Like, because if you fix his plate and he says, thank you, baby, then why was that not enough? What did you want? What do you want him to start doing? Like, what do you want? See, in a marriage, this is why I say in marriages, we don't count. In marriages, we don't count. What don't we count? What I did and then what you did. Whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing. I'm not going to count how many times you did me wrong, but if it happened too many times, we're going to have a conversation about it. Same thing I would expect from you if I start doing too many things that my husband find to be disdainful and distasteful, nay, even disrespectful. I imagine that he would have this conversation with me. He may not know exactly how many times it transpired, but it was one too many because now he's got to talk about it. Now, once things have been resolved, then they are resolved. No counts. We don't get to bring it up 3 years from now. Remember that time when you did such and such? You know what? I do kind of remember it, but why are we talking about it? Same thing with the ladies. You remember that time you said such and such to me and I didn't like it? I do remember that time. I also remember having a discussion about it. Didn't we talk about that? Because if you ain't got no solid reason to be talking about it today, I don't know why we talking about it. You see? And we also not keeping tabs on, well, I did you this good turn and I did you that good turn and I did you a favor here and I helped you there, and I said this good thing to you there and then I did this thing to you. Go, okay. And all right. That's 20 things. You counted those? So like you was counting? Like, did you write it down or was you like keeping a mental count? Like now I want to know, I'm nosy. I want to know how you did it. Because you was petty enough to do it. So because like I said, if your rights are not being observed and your needs are not being met, it don't matter how many times it happened. It only matters that it's happening. And now we have to resolve it. Like, right. Like, is you doing it on a spreadsheet? So you got a spread, like, do you have a spreadsheet? You almost can't get in it because I know Microsoft ain't letting you get into it, but okay, all right. I do not feel seen. This oftentimes is a projection. And it's a projection from the way in which feminism has made the office and the station of wife be so little till you don't even see yourself in it. You don't even see yourself because you don't see any value to what you're doing. Because things go back to feminism convincing women that the only value in the whole entire world in any capacity is the value that men have. They'll swear to God that's not what they're saying. That's exactly what they're saying. That's exactly what feminism got women to believe. That's why feminists are masculine. They didn't go further into their feminine energy. They went into a masculine and a toxic feminine energy is what they did. They convinced women that the only value that has ever been in the world is what men do. The only thing valuable is what men do. Work, make money, build things, make things, all of that. Be in positions of leadership and power and, all of that. So those are the only things, whether we're talking about in the world at large or we're talking about in a relationship, only the things that men do in the relationship hold weight or value or space. And men don't typically do, historically and culturally, men do not really do the bulk of the housework and the child rearing and the domestic work and things of that nature. So they convinced women that only what men do is valuable. So if an ideology can convince women that their position as women, not only romantically or societally, but their very essence, the very essence of even being a woman at all, is something low and worthless, why would any woman want to do it? Why would anybody want to be associated with something that has no respect attached to it and no value? Why would anybody want to be attached to that? They attacked being women, even from a spiritual sense. See how God talk about women in the Bible? Even God doesn't like women. He blamed women actually for literally everything that was ever wrong in the earth. Who wants to be associated with being a woman if a woman is the source of everything wrong everywhere? See how they attacked it? So that the very thing that makes a woman is actually bad. It's actually bad. See, even God think it's bad. So if it's bad, then why would you want to be it? You can't be that. You can't associate yourself with that. So that means the only way that you can be good and be seen as valuable, be seen at all, is to be doing or trying to do the things that men do. Right? See how they erased women? Women were erased and brought low. Feminism did that. So that women do not feel seen. Everything that women do, everything that we are, is somehow not worth anything. Nobody wants to be worthless. So this is the convincing that feminism did. This is the way in which it is warped. This is why so many women cannot bring themselves to occupy the wife space, because the wife space has a derogatory and a negative attachment to it in their minds. So why would they want to be associated with it? Because I deserve an equal partner. And we addressed that in the business analogy, right? Because if I have to do my work and your work, this is not a good business venture, not a good investment. So that was kind of self-explanatory, right? I do not want my daughters to think this is the way life should be. This is key. This is key. We should not teach our daughters the station of wife. We don't want our daughters catching us in any way, shape, or form being a wife. We don't want them to think that a wife is something good. And that this is a lofty position, one even one that God likes. Because remember, God don't even like women. Do you understand? They attacked it through the spiritual realm already. People's belief in Christianity and in the original sin. So feminism took that and said, see, God does not even like you. Okay. So why would you want to be something that he constructed for you, for women? You might as well find your value outside of that. So we don't want our daughters catching us at no point in time being selfless in a relationship, or doing any acquiescing in a relationship, or making any adjustments in order to make a relationship work, or to make sure that their husbands are also having a good experience in the relationship and not just her. If I have to do it by myself, I might as well be by myself. But what are you doing by yourself? They never actually define that. When you start talking to these women about what they think they're doing by themselves, these are the actions of wives. This is what I'm trying to point out, that the work that they don't want to do, that they find so laborsome and burdensome, is actually the work of wives. The reason why they find it burdensome is because they are not wives. They want to be partners. This is not what partners do. They done got caught up being a wife. That's a different set of responsibilities and expectations. It goes back to the first one. I can't see myself doing this forever. I thought I was getting into a contract and all of that. This is what's being expected. What's actually being asked of me on the ground is the actions of a covenant. I was not even mentally prepared to do that. I certainly was not spiritually prepared to do that. So this is what, if I have to do it, what is it? What is it? What is the burden that they feel? They are feeling the burden of being a wife when that's literally not what they signed up for. They literally didn't sign up for that. They signed up to be partners, or so they thought, or so they said. I feel like a married single mother. This goes, again, wife duties, things that you're supposed to do as a woman. Typically, women have taken on the bulk of child rearing and things of that nature. Not to mention that children in their very needy stage is a short span, actually, of their lives. It's short. Because they be acting like kids don't grow up. They be acting like kids don't grow up and get their own like independence and able to kind of do things on their own, and they don't need mommy as much and things of that nature. Right? Because there's that space where children absolutely are 100% in need of their moms. Their moms. They don't need their dads like that when they little. An infant, I'm not saying there's no benefit to the father being around an infant. I'm saying, but the infant is relying upon heavily, way more heavily than their dad. They're relying on their moms. Don't let her be breastfeeding and all that kind of stuff. The baby cannot get that from the dad at all. Got to get it from mom. They cry for mama. They was in mama's womb 9 months. They already attached. Already attached. Listening to mama's heartbeat and all that kind of, they have an attachment to her that's 9 months ahead of the attachment that they're forming with their fathers. Generally. They start crawling and walking. The mother is still taking the bulk of the parenting responsibilities. And that doesn't mean that the men aren't doing anything, but it's just that she's taking the bulk of that. They're young, they're little. You know, he only want to be around a crying baby so long. It's about to get on his nerve. Mama gonna tune it out. You see what I'm saying? Because she gonna check the diapers, she gonna burp the baby, she gonna feed the baby, just not sleepy, you right there, and you wanna whine, mama gonna tune you out. Not gonna bother me, tune you right out. I know you back there fussing. We not gonna pick you up. Not gonna spoil you or nothing like that. You gonna lay there. Lay right there. You get tired of whining. Because ain't nothing wrong with you. I already checked everything. Ain't nothing wrong with you. They get to toddlers. You're still taking the bulk of the parenting responsibilities. It's just the way it is. With a fully present father in the home, this is the way it would be. Again, we're not saying he's not going to be participatory in the baby's life. That's not what I'm saying. But you take the bulk. Now, when the babies get older, start being able to take direction and instruction, that's when daddy is stepping in a little more. Fathers, I notice, work better when the children can take an instruction. When he can give an instruction and they take it. You know, now the babies can walk and they can go somewhere and they can do something. Now he's take a more active, even more active. But y'all won't help to change the diaper. Y'all, no. Can he change the baby's diaper sometime? We're not saying he won't or can't or doesn't want to. We're saying that that's primarily you. Primarily it's you. The majority of the time when the baby's really little and not sleeping through the night all the time, you gonna have to get up because you know what the baby want? Milk. And be put back to sleep. You gonna have to get up. Even if you work, you gonna have to get up. That's why maternity leave is a thing, because you might not be able to actually function like that. Because a mother, all of her energy when that baby's an infant goes to that baby. But the baby gonna get older. And they gonna start running around. And they gonna start trying to go with daddy. And that was one thing I said if I had ever had children. Listen, it is not gonna be a situation where up under me, gone with your daddy. Your dad, he going to the masjid, get your kufi. Get your kufi. You going with IB. You going with IB. Sure will. You got your shoes? You want to go with IB? He gonna leave you. You get your shoes. They grow up. And then you don't have that dependency. Those children are not as dependent on you as they grow. Then you can get a breather. Stop acting like you don't send them to school. Like, stop doing that. Y'all get them out of there as fast as you can. You send them to daycare. You send them to Head Start. You send them to kindergarten. You get them out of there as soon as they can breathe fresh air. Stop acting like you just got the kids around you and they just tearing your hair out. Like, I wish y'all would stop that. Stop spoiling them. If you raise them, they won't bother you all day. Even the little bitty ones. Tell you that. Stop spoiling for going over there every time they whimper and go pick them up. Don't pick that baby up. Lay that baby right there. Nothing wrong with that baby. You pat their little chest and their little back and go head on. They'll stop it. Once they realize all that little wiggling and whining ain't gonna make you run over there every time they do that, they'll stop that. Babies ain't stupid. They just babies. They not stupid. They whine because you run over there. That's why they whimper again. Every time they, here you come. Now you just did that not 2 minutes ago. And every time you walk out the room, go ahead and cry. I want to see you do it. I'm going to go on in here. Y'all don't know how to treat these babies. And you ain't doing nothing wrong with that baby will be all right. Because every time you come in there, he playing you for a fool any kind of way. Because he, and every time you come in there, because they done played you for a fool. Told you babies is not stupid. Babies will play with your emotions, will play in your face all day. You'll be running back and forth like a chicken with his head cut off at a baby's whimper. Y'all better stop that. These old folks ain't taught y'all nothing. You cannot jump up at every whimper of a baby. Babies know what they doing. There don't be nothing wrong with them babies. They be playing with you. and then you come over there. They be laughing at you, not with you. They laughing at you. Trust and believe. I have been laughed at by a 3-month-old. It's embarrassing. Tell me I'm lying. You ever been laughed at to your face by a 6-month-old and then they put their foot in their mouth and just laugh? Ooh-wee. Because I was losing myself. I had no time for myself and I deserve better. Manage your time better. Manage your time better than that. See, a lot of this stuff is simple and women make such a big deal out of it because the reason why all of this stuff is a big deal to these women is because they have not approached it underneath the covenant of Allah. So they tit for tatting and they arrange your time better than that. Because you're going to have to leave them kids alone. And you're going to be alone. Your husband at work. Them kids got to be at school. Why come you can't soak in the tub? What's wrong with you? I'm telling y'all, stop acting like y'all got to be chained to the hip with these kids for the next 50 years. Stop that. Right, baby. So by the time they be 10, 12, they can wash themselves, dress themselves, go to the bathroom without you, eat by themselves. They cut that out. They at school 8 hours because you ain't homeschooling. So they're at school cutting up for 8 hours. Your husband at work 8, 9, 10 hours. You might be at work too. Whatever. Them kids gonna come in, they school age, ain't they? Sit down there and do your homework. Y'all don't sit y'all kids down at the kitchen table, make them do their homework. No, you let them go in there and play PlayStation and play on the iPad and all that kind of stuff, and you got to beg them to do school work and all that kind of stuff, and they rolling their eyes and all that kind of stuff. The kids just got no control, and then no discipline in the house and all that kind of stuff. They gets up when they want it and do what they want to. You don't know what you're doing. As dysfunctional and poor as we was when I was growing up, we had to sit at the kitchen table and do your homework. You ain't had nothing else to do. I guarantee you that. You had no money and you ain't had no game or nothing like that. You ain't got nothing better to do but your homework. I guess you is a straight A student. Because I guarantee you ain't nothing else to do. You know, I used to come in and you know what I'm saying, you watch a little Tom and Jerry. It's the Tom and Jerry was my it. Y'all missing out on Looney Tunes and stuff. Come in, you know what I'm saying, you relax a little bit, you know, get out your school clothes and stuff like that, watch your little Tom and Jerry and then get to it. You may or may not have dinner to eat. That was your burden to bear. Y'all act like y'all chained to the hip with these kids and then ain't got no time for yourself. Manage your time better than that. Get up earlier if you can. Because everybody, all y'all ain't commuting at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Some of y'all work at the house. Get up. There's just too much resentment. The resentment comes, I told you about that. The resentment comes because you think you're doing stuff for your husband that you don't get any benefit or reward from. If you think you're doing thankless work, then you will become resentful. This is why I say wives don't do this. Exactly. Get up for Fudger. Allah already told you what time. Get up. Because I'm exhausted. You don't manage your time good. You worried about all the wrong things. You mentally exhausted because you worried about the wrong thing. Please don't sit here and act like you're not mentally exhausted because you're trying to go through his phone. Please don't tell me because that's why you tired in the morning because you done sat up all night and done tried to, ease the phone under his thumb so he can unlock it and all that kind of stuff. And you going through Facebook text messages from 2019. That's why you tired. You tired because the wrong thing is jogging through your mind all day. The wrong thing, because women get mentally tired. We'll get mentally tired before we get physically tired. But stop sitting there making up all the scenarios in your head all day. Stop that. Y'all think I'm being funny, and I am not. I'm not. That's not a joke. You'll make yourself tired sitting there thinking of all of the scenarios and what he could be doing, and he went through, wonder who he was talking to. None of your business. It's a lot of stuff. Because I'm gonna start wrapping this up. It's a lot of stuff that your husband do that ain't none of your business, and a lot of y'all don't believe that, but it's true. Hey, Kasim, how you doing? Kasim, how you feeling? It's a lot of stuff going on, and it's actually not your business. You think that because you are married to this man, that somehow, some way, everything he do, every little thing he do, it got to be your business. No, you don't even got to know what's going on. Stop that. You're worried about the wrong thing all day. Wrong thing just running through your mind, run you crazy. You just be crazy with all that foolishness running through your head. I wonder who he talked to. And he laughed at such and such. And he showed this seem friendly. Have some faith in God. That's what's wrong with you. You ain't got no faith in the Lord. Because I promise you, when you have faith in the Lord, what is done in the dark shall come to light. You got to be unbothered. You got to be unbothered. Stop letting Shaitan play with you all day. Stop letting him play. You tired because you let Shaitan play with you all day. And he is not playing. He roughhousing. He ain't even playing gentle or nothing like that. He smacking you and laughing and carrying on because you done sat there and got mad at 4 scenarios that ain't even happened. Then when he get in, you cutting him an eye. Why? What you cut your eyes at him for? He don't even know all that foolishness been going on through your head all day. Then Shaitan play with you all day. Then when your husband come in, now he gone and leave you holding the emotional bag that you shouldn't even been holding in the first place. Let him hold it. He love it so much. Let Shaitan hold the bag since he want it. Y'all don't know how to get Shaitan out y'all face. Tell him to go act out the scenario since since they so important to him. You got other things to do. He want to live through it. Now, let him sit there and imagine them. You sitting there and work yourself up into a frenzy over something that is imaginary, ain't even happening. And then got mad with that man. And you got to try to calm yourself down because you done made yourself upset. Now you're mad. I ain't never seen nothing so foolish. And part of that come from thinking everything that man do is your business, and it is not. Stop going through folks' phones. Stop going through folks' stuff. Everybody that he talked to and stuff that he do, that is not your business. Your business is whether or not your rights is being seen to in this marriage, and kids is all right, and your household is good, and all of that type of stuff. That's your business. That's your business. As long as whatever he doing ain't messed that up. Is he emotionally available? Is he present in your marriage? Is he present in the lives of your children? And I mean really present, not just physically there, but he active and he participates and things of that nature. Long as he doing that, leave everything else up to God, because you can't control it no way. You over there running around trying to control what he do. You cannot control what he do. That is a grown man. Because I guarantee you don't want him controlling everything you do. And everything you say to somebody ain't none of his business. Because I'll be doggone if you want him to go through your text messages that you done had with your brothers and your sisters. That's why you don't go through folks' phone. Because if you look for it, you'll find it. If you look for it, you'll find it. Stop looking for stuff. Stop looking. Stop looking for foolishness. Because Shaitan will make sure you find it. Even if it ain't there, he'll make it up and put it there. Do what you're supposed to be doing in the marriage. If for some reason he ain't doing right, Allah gonna show that to you. But while he's showing you that, make sure he show you how to be a wife. He showed you that too. Remember that. Remember that. That was written as well. How to be a wife, how to show up in your marriage. You show up in your marriage the way you supposed to. And if you're doing you dirty behind your back, Allah ain't gonna let him keep doing it. Allah is not gonna let him play. But it worked the other way too. Because God don't like ugly and he don't like pretty if it don't do right. So if your man is a spiritual man and you doing him dirty, best and believe God gonna show him that too. He gonna show him. Find you a little business to tend to or something like that. Pray. Go pray. Read your Bible or read your Quran or something like that. Go. But find you something to do. Find you something to occupy your mind. And don't let Shaitan play with your mind. Thank you, Miss Tanika, for your super sticker. I appreciate you, beloved. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. The goddess and modern women are looking for a financial beneficiary, not a husband. Say that again. They don't want to be in a natural role of a helpmeet, and the children suffer. They absolutely do. Thank you once again, Miss Ma'am said, most mothers don't like their kids. I love our kids, and I was a single mother. I knew that I couldn't give them what a father could, so I changed my mindset. 17 years later, still married and happy. I'm happy to hear that, sis. Happy to hear that. And thank you so much, UFO, for your continued support. UFO is one of my day ones. Said Crimson University. I appreciate you always. And thank you, Sana, for your contribution as well. I appreciate you as well. And I appreciate all of the Cash Apps and all of the support as well. we're going to get out of here, but before we go,
Join PCTechForum.net is a new site. It's a way of discussing everything related to tech news. They'll be discussing the latest processors, graphic cards, laptops, hard drives, computer cases. They also have a section for pre-built PCs and custom-built PCs, and also a PC straight from the manufacturer. They also be discussing the operating systems and how to troubleshoot them. And said, last but not least, they'll also be discussing the latest games and business. The site is brand new, so people will join for the first time on there. So come and sign up today at PCTechForum.net.
Once again, I want to thank everybody for coming through. The link to PCTechForum.net is pinned to the top of the chat. Everyone, please help the brother to reach and surpass his goal of 300 registered subscribers and users to the forum. Very well structured, neat, very good forum. So please click the link at the top of the chat. Go ahead and join. It's free to register and to join. Once again, thank you so much. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonite.